Oh, what's this? An indie-developed Metroidvania roguelite with intuitive combat system, beautiful art style, and good music? Well, surely the developer has to be... Oh. Well, I'll be damned. Yeah, Dead Cells was definitely a nice surprise during the midst of 2018. This game basically came out of nowhere, and since its release, it's only really gotten praise, but it's time for an absolute professional to take a look into this. Alright, that was pretty cool. But yeah, in this game we play as a blob that rolls around and has little to no concept of the meaning of personal space. It's fine though, I really don't think anyone was using that body anyways. You know, but let's not worry about that, let's simply press forward and holy hell, best girl. But jokes aside, this vixen here gives you as much info about this place that she can while also alerting us that we now cannot die. Neat. Unfortunately, she does not abide by the same rules. Eesh. Well, I suppose we do what we should. And fucking loot her corpse. Damn. Well, aside from dead waifus, the game holds a pretty sweet array of other NPCs such as Large Lad and Grindstone Gary. Large Lad allows you to spend a currency known as cells for permanent weapon and item unlocks over time, while Gary allows you to change the current stats you have on your weapons or items for gold. Oh, and I forgot to mention Mutation Manlet and Merchant Mungo. Mutation Manlet allows to choose one buff of various proportions, some of which even give a detriment to you, much like keeping the house through the divorce but still losing the kids. Merchant Mungo, on the other hand, attempts to gyp you of your hard-earned coins at every opportunity. 4,800 coins for a stick on fire. I don't know what distant land you hail from, sir, but have I got some shocking fucking news. Of course, to use these vendors, you need to earn money in cells. How does one body-jacking blob make a living in such a perilous land? Well, it's actually quite simple. By kindly extorting it out of the pesky locals. These kind-dwelling folk come in all shapes and sizes. You have green boys who are the essential cannon fodder, shield boys who are cowards, purple boys who nonchalantly throw orbs of not consent, arrow lads who are definitely uninspired, and teleporting dex builds who exist specifically to anger me. Of course, there's so many more than this, but I'm not taking the time to tell you all of them because go play the game yourself and cause no. However, the combat system is something I will delve into. Much like the challenge of teaching a young dog not to piss and eat your furniture, Dead Cells' combat is both frustrating and fully rewarding. The way you attack is simple. Press the attack button to attack and the roll button to roll. I'm sorry for being a jackass, I was using the gamepad so my buttons could be different. But the attack button is latched to only one key, and you attack by doing a string combo just from mashing it. Depending on what weapons you have, some weapons may hit slowly and a few times, or some may hit fast and many times. And even more with your playstyle, you can equip items such as the I want to win the run and I want to win the run even more. Let me explain. Every string of attacks briefly stun locks most enemies, leading to a quick kill with little risk. However, the game's risk comes from landing that single hit, as the enemy will always usually attack before you do. So getting around that attack is essential for finishing them off. Now take an item like the Automatic Bolt Launcher, which is an item that can fire from long distance, do temporary stun, knock enemies out of attack animations, has unlimited ammo, and is absolutely ludicrous in its health pool. And now pair that with the fact that you can place two of them at almost any time because the cooldown is nearly non-existent. You get some pretty broken setups, and the only reason I would lose with it is because I would often forget I even had them as I was just using the melee combat out of fun. Seriously, look at what these things do to one of the bosses.
Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. You have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, and you don't really love it, you're going to give up.
Well, that was just sad. So, moving past the moral atrocity I just committed, time for another. Hey there. Psst. Hey, kid. Do you like stun-locking opponents? Does getting a free kill with no possible retaliation give you that sexual thrill that you've been so desiring? Well, you're absolutely disgusting, and I'm calling the cops. But do I still have the weapon for you? Ah, yes. The ice grenade. By channeling the power of that one rapper no one can remember from the hit film Are We There Yet? And, well, a grenade, we come upon this monstrosity. This thing just straight up destroys enemies, like this man had no chance. Not to mention, mostly all ice weapons are this or better. Did I mention just about any weapon can come with a modifier that increases damage to frozen enemies by nearly double? Why am I even playing this game? Alright, with all this said, the game is pretty easy, right? No, the enemies hit really quick and do crazy amounts of damage. The only indicator you really get to avoid a hit is a small notification from the enemy alerting you that they're about to attack. Past this, it's your own reflexes that'll keep you alive. Also, healing items are fairly scarce, and this game's Estus Flask can only be used once or twice a level early on. And that about covers most of the combat, but now I'd like to mention some of the finer points the game has. Just as all good roguelites have, constant progression via permanent upgrades is a must. Dead Cells definitely feels like it goes in the right direction here, and throughout every run you unlock more and more gear to help you along. Although, I really do feel like with the right early game setup you can still beat the game in a fair amount of time. It only took me about 10 runs to finally get my first win, and even then 3 of those runs were hard resets because the game would end up breaking and I'd get stuck. I'll definitely get to the bugs in a minute, but before I do, let me finish up here. Along with constant item progression, your character unlocks various abilities as you explore and play. These unlock new areas and provide new content to keep you going. Along with these wonderful additions, the game has its own challenge rooms and activities you can activate during your runs. Be warned though, these challenges will probably kick your ass. These aren't easy and will test your skill and mettle. Alright, let's throw gameplay in the trash real quick. What else is here to enjoy? Well, for starters, music kicks ass, and I'm a sucker for great music. The atmosphere of each level is pretty different, but overall gives the sense of something brooding and dark happening. The story isn't exactly fully given to you, instead you gotta put it together yourself, much like a puzzle you don't want to complete, but you know there's ice cream reward at the end of it. This is why I haven't really talked about the story too much. I'm not sure I really understand all of it just yet, and I'd like to let you guys try your own kick at it. With all this said, the game's charm is undeniable, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's a fan of roguelites. I do suppose it's that time of the day, though, where I stop giving hugs and kisses, and I do talk about the few bugs I did encounter while playing the game. The one and real bug that I did experience was that sometimes the game would procedurally generate poorly, and I would just end up stuck behind a wall I couldn't get over. This happened around 3 times, and it's just crazy frustrating since it was kinda like, oh boy, you sure are doing great this run, too good in fact. Alright, here's a wall you can't jump over, put the controller down and try again later, soy boy. In which I would kindly respond with, ouch, and my general consumption of dairy products is none of your goddamn concern, glug glug. That wraps up everything I really want to say on this game. Great experience, go play it. I give it a grade out of good. Oh, and they're giving a really big massive DLC update in just a few days here, so that's a thing. Anyways, go subscribe because I love you, stay safe, and most importantly, keep positive.